This is Kenneth Turan of the Los Angeles Times. I'm here with my colleague Justin Chang, and we're going to talk about the Oscars. The day itself is approaching, the glorious day, and really the most interesting race, especially this year, is the Best Picture race. So we're going to talk about what we think is going to win, what might win, what we'd like to win, and all combinations of the above. So Justin, what do you think?
Gosh, it's really hard. It seems to change by the day. I am sort of going out on a limb that doesn't actually even feel like that much of a limb. I think Get Out is going to win, and I don't feel even close to 100% or even 50% confident about that, but I think it's within the realm of possibility. Obviously, the smart money is still to some degree on The Shape of Water, which has 13 nominations and won the PGA, DGA. Guillermo del Toro is going to win Best Director, but as we've seen in recent years, that's not a guarantee of anything in the Best Picture race. If anything, it seems like the Academy is inclined to split the two awards.
Exactly.
So what do you think, though?
Yeah. Well, I think Shape of Water has to be the favorite because not only does it have 13 nominations, but it's got below-the-line nominations, obviously a lot of craft votes, but it's got 3 acting nominations, so there's a lot of support above the line as well. And that's a powerful combination, but again, it doesn't feel like a sure thing the way a lot of the other races do. I think Get Out is really a strong contender for an upset. And I think, much to my surprise, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri is hanging in there. The Academy is always looking to make a statement, to kind of pick films that they think show that they as a group are socially significant. And people who may not want to vote for Get Out may find a safe harbor in 3 Billboards.
It's interesting. It reminds me of your that you put this so well with it'll be for them what Crash was, what Brokeback was for it's like the easier way to perhaps make some kind of statement. It's interesting because 3 Billboards has kind of generated some controversy over representational issues, but I think that's a conversation mainly that's happening among critics like you and me, not so much the Academy. They love this movie. Sam Rockwell and Frances McDormand are very likely going to win. The actors love it. It's a big, showy performance piece, and that counts a lot because the actors branch is, of course, the largest in the Academy.
And it's interesting, though, that Martin McDonagh was not nominated for Best Director.
That is true.
But again, all these things that don't predict 100%. And if you were looking at all the predictors this year, nothing would win. And something has to win. So I think we've pretty much.
It's very true. I think I was looking at it's like no matter what wins this year, some statistic is going to go out the window. And I think that's it's a product of many things. The fact that there are now like 5 to 10 nominees in the category, the rules don't really apply anymore, and I think that's kind of a wonderful thing actually, regardless of what wins. Some people are even saying that they think Lady Bird and Dunkirk and maybe even Phantom Thread have a shot because it's just
the strange proportional voting, which it's kind of like one of these old treaties in Central Europe. No one understands them. You'd be hard pressed to find an average Academy voter who could tell you exactly how the system works. People have an inkling, but it's a complex system and it's supposed to be very fair, but it leads sometimes to winners that would not have won in a straight popular vote.
And I think as the Academy continues to broaden and diversify its membership, that's just going to be more the case. So there's even less and less such thing as what an average Academy voter looks like, per se.
Yeah.
Well, Kenny, just speaking between us two, we do not vote on these, needless to say, and that's probably for the best. But what would you like to see win Best Picture of these 9 nominees? Yeah.
I think I have 3 films that would make me the happiest. There's almost nothing that would make me unhappy. I like almost all the films on the list. I think Shape of Water. I think Guillermo del Toro is such a transcendent filmmaker. I would, as you say, he's almost a lock to win Best Director. I'd like to see Best Picture for him as well. I love Lady Bird. It's a small film, but it just is so difficult to do what it does.
Yes.
And I want to put in kind of a beleaguered word for Dunkirk.
Yeah.
It's an impressive piece of work. In another era, this would be a lock for Best Picture, but we're not in that era. I think it still has an outside shot, but I think it's an accomplishment that's well worth noting.
Yeah. I really hope Dunkirk has some stealth support as well. For me, I'd love to see Call Me By Your Name, which seems to have sort of fallen a little bit by the wayside, but I think it's a beautiful film. Phantom Thread, I think, is beautiful as well. But I'd say for my number 3, also Lady Bird, which maybe tells us if we're doing our own preferential ballot, a small film, but that is, I don't think anybody dislikes that movie.
No.
And that can sometimes, as we've seen, can make the difference.
Yes.
So, We don't know what's going to happen, but we will keep watching, and please keep watching our coverage as well of the Oscars this Sunday on latimes.com.